afraid of coming forward. They've been afraid of what he could potentially do to them within the industry, what he could do to them professionally, maybe even personally. And so yes, it's been a dark secret they've held on to for a very, very long time.
Assistant Deshaun Diddy Combs speaking out in the new interview with new allegations about wild parties and drug use.
One of hip-hop's most legendary figures just flipped the entire game on its head. A man once seen as untouchable is now turning on his own crew, and the names he's dropping could destroy careers, crush bank accounts, and wreck reputations overnight. Sources tied to the federal investigation into Sean Diddy Combs are saying something wild. Snoop Dogg isn't just watching from the sidelines anymore. He's now a cooperating insider. The same Snoop who lived through those wild mansion parties, who saw the secret deals, the whispers, and the power moves. Now it looks like he's ready to spill every detail investigators have been chasing for years. But this story goes way beyond Diddy's 50-month sentence for transporting individuals for illicit encounters. It's exposing a hidden system that shaped the entertainment world for decades, a system that only someone deep inside could ever reveal. By the time Diddy was transferred to FCI Fort Dix in New Jersey in late October 2025, the case had already blown past the music scene and into something much bigger. Court files revealed dark layers of coercion, controlled substances, and manipulation buried under the glamour. Yet what made everything explode was the leak of a sealed affidavit that actually named Snoop Dogg as a cooperating witness. For years, he laughed off rumors about those secret Hamptons white parties, but insiders now claim he's turned over lists of guests, money trails, and even private footage that could connect some of the most powerful figures in music and politics to the mysterious world at the heart of Diddy's empire.
I'm sorry, I'm just I'm in this moment right now. This is crazy. Sorry. People don't really know how much what it does to you when something that you love is taken from you and thrown away like it don't even matter, and then they move on with their lives and you're stuck. You're stuck during those years. You're still stuck 21 years later.
This isn't just a scandal, it's a full-blown reckoning. To really feel the weight of what's happening now, you've got to rewind the clock. Back in the early 90s, Snoop Dogg and Diddy were on opposite sides of one of the biggest rivalries in music history, the East Coast versus West Coast feud. Diddy was running Bad Boy Records while Snoop was repping hard under death row with Suge Knight. That beef wasn't just music. It was culture, power, and pride, and for years it shaped the entire sound of American hip-hop. But time has a strange way of flipping the script. By the mid-2000s, the same Snoop who once stood across the battle line was showing up at Diddy's iconic white parties. Those over-the-top Hamptons events where everyone from Paris Hilton to Leonardo DiCaprio, Jay-Z, and even political elites showed up in matching white fits, pretending it was all about peace and unity. Snoop was seen laughing, shaking hands, and posing for photos. But insiders are now saying those celebrations had a darker purpose. Former assistants claim those weren't just glamorous parties. They were secret recruiting grounds for Diddy's private inner circle. The same events that symbolized unity may have actually been used to pull people deeper into his hidden world. It's that hypocrisy that now burns the most in public. Behind the scenes, witnesses describe tight-lipped corridors, locked rooms, and strict orders, phones taken away, staff told to see nothing, say nothing. Everything looked spotless on the surface, but underneath, the control was real. Cassie Ventura's 2023 lawsuit ripped the mask off, accusing Diddy of years of manipulation and forced involvement in what prosecutors later called freak-offs.
Consider my rap as a conversation more or less than a rap, because if you take the music off and just listen to my words, it's like I'm conversating with you rather than screaming and hollering.
That word alone became a symbol for his secret empire, nights of power, surveillance, and substances. And when CNN dropped that shocking 2016 footage of Diddy assaulting Cassie in a Los Angeles hotel hallway, the whole world froze. Insiders say that moment hit Snoop so hard, it's what finally pushed him into complete silence. For almost a decade, Snoop had seen things most people wouldn't believe. But for the first time, it hit him. The system that had protected Diddy for years couldn't protect anyone forever. The shield was cracking and the secrets were too heavy to keep quiet anymore. Then came the explosion. Literally. In December 2011, after Cassie briefly dated Kid Cudi, His car was mysteriously set on fire right in his driveway. Cootie later confirmed it himself, calling it a message. Investigators now see that as part of a much bigger pattern, an intimidation playbook meant to scare people into silence. And it didn't stop there. That same pattern allegedly reached everyone in Diddy's orbit: business partners, stylists, label artists, and even personal staff. Through all of it, Snoop kept his cool, staying neutral in public until now. According to sources close to the probe, federal agents quietly approached Snoop as early as 2022, right around the time he was negotiating to take control of Death Row Records. They suspected he understood exactly how Diddy's operation functioned. Not like some street gang, but like a polished system.
Just ended, and I'm just getting word right now that we are hearing that Kid Cudi, who is going to be an important witness in this case, that he possibly is going to take the stand tomorrow. So that's going to be interesting testimony, because this is a situation in which Sean Combs had said that he was jealous and accusing Cassie Ventura of cheating on him with.
There were assistants managing travel, handlers coordinating substances, and executives laundering reputations behind charity events. Everything looked glamorous on the outside, but the structure ran deep and dirty. The real turning point came in 2024 when Christina Coram, Diddy's former chief of staff, dropped shocking testimony in court. She claimed a pink-tinted powder was regularly passed around at parties to keep guests relaxed and obedient. And get this, she said she was personally ordered to secure it for Diddy and several visiting celebrities. That statement shook the whole industry, especially those who once laughed off the rumors as gossip. This wasn't just word of mouth anymore. It was logistics, receipts, and records. When investigators traced the money and travel trails, they allegedly found Snoop's name listed among attendees at multiple high-profile events now under federal review. That's when things shifted. Insiders say his cooperation began soon after, through a quiet, lawyer-negotiated deal that offered leniency on some unrelated financial matters. The game had officially changed. But Snoop's ties to Diddy weren't just casual appearances. They went way deeper. He wasn't just another guest showing up to the mansion parties. He was once sharing stages, signing deals, and living inside that same glittering world. According to insiders close to the investigation, Snoop actually had access to the guest lists, security files, and even the surveillance contracts that made those events feel untouchable. What once looked like a luxurious lifestyle now appears more like a controlled setup. A world where every guest was watched, tested, and in some cases compromised. Nobody's confirming which celebrities are named in the sealed affidavit yet, but one thing's crystal clear: the web is massive. The feds aren't just looking at Diddy's circle anymore. The trail stretches into record labels, streaming platforms, and entertainment executives who allegedly gained from keeping quiet. The system ran deeper than anyone imagined, and the silence surrounding it bought power for years. And the names being whispered, they're shocking. Usher, long painted as Diddy's protege, was mentioned in courtroom testimony describing a 2010 restaurant incident where Cassie was allegedly assaulted.
He was this clean businessman who rise to the top because he was such a powerful and smart, educated man. I had no idea that he had this other side to him. And when I started to get exposed to his lifestyle, I started to really realize, like, this guy has an addiction. It's not just, once every few weeks, it's every day, every hour.
Witness Dawn Richard told jurors she saw Diddy hit Ventura while several stars, including Usher, sat frozen in disbelief, and not one person stepped in. That silence now echoes louder than ever. Meanwhile, Young Miami, who dated Diddy between 2021 and 2023, is catching serious heat too. She's publicly denied knowing about any wrongdoing, but insiders say new lawsuits are circling, questioning what she really knew and how deep her involvement might have gone. The walls are closing in, and the industry's biggest names are suddenly way too quiet. Reports now suggest that Young Miami's cousin might have been involved in procuring party supplies, a vague phrase that insiders say blurs the line between simply helping out and becoming part of the operation. As Diddy's empire grew, that thin line between being a partner and being a facilitator started to fade until everything merged into one giant machine of influence and secrecy. And then there's the bombshell that's shaken the industry again. The resurfaced case from the 2000 VMAs after party. Back then, an unnamed minor accused both Diddy and another male celebrity, later identified as Jay-Z, of a serious assault. The case disappeared quietly, brushed aside like it never happened. But now, with all these fresh indictments, attorneys are digging back in, checking if the same team of handlers, guards, and security staff were part of the same hidden system. For years, each of these stories floated around like rumors, separate and easy to dismiss. But when Snoop's name suddenly popped up in those federal files, investigators started connecting the dots. And the picture they're drawing is chilling. The biggest question hanging over all this is haunting. How did so many powerful people walk through the same doors, see the same things, and still claim they knew nothing?
She saw no way out other than doing what he told her to do. He had mentally controlled her. It's like a pimp. Diddy had pimp potential. He had her mind messed up where it controlled her.
Former assistants paint a surreal scene. Famous actors, models, and even royal guests gliding through candlelit halls, while staff carried trays of sparkling drinks laced with strange, unlabeled powders. Photos from those nights show the world's elite smiling for the cameras, but witnesses say what happened once the flashes stopped was something entirely different. The so-called freak-offs weren't wild, spontaneous parties at all. They were orchestrated events, planned down to the last second, where control was the real star of the show. Those infamous freak-off productions weren't random parties. They were scheduled, filmed, and archived like episodes of a secret show. And now, those hidden archives have become hard evidence in a growing federal storm. Snoop's decision to break his silence has split the industry in two. Some call it betrayal, others call it survival. Suge Knight, speaking from prison earlier this year, blasted Snoop, accusing him of destroying the legacy of Death Row Records. But what Suge didn't realize was that Snoop was already deep in talks with federal investigators by then. Insiders describe long, tense months of negotiation, Snoop walking a razor's edge between loyalty and survival. He had spent decades crafting his image as hip-hop's chill, untouchable icon, the guy who'd moved beyond the chaos of his past. Now that same charm, the one that made him America's cool uncle, could be the key to breaking open a culture of silence that's ruled the music game for decades. The stakes have never been higher. The sealed affidavit reportedly contains private messages between Bad Boy Entertainment executives and event planners tied to those notorious white parties. Those communications reveal a full-blown logistics chain. Drivers, hotels, delivery runners, and suppliers, all working quietly across Los Angeles, Miami, and Ibiza. Federal agents now believe this setup wasn't just a social circle, but an organized network operating like a corporate machine built for control and secrecy. If that theory holds, Diddy's conviction might only be the opening act, and Snoop's cooperation could set off a whole wave of new subpoenas and indictments. And as word of Snoop's role continues to spread, the dominoes are already tumbling. Names that once seemed untouchable are suddenly showing up in court filings and anonymous leaks. Usher's silence during the alleged 2010 restaurant incident with Cassie Ventura is being re-examined, and Young Miami's name has surfaced in a separate civil case tied to substance distribution claims. The walls are closing in fast, and this time, no one looks safe.
Continue to engage in all these freak-offs with him, and he sounds really pissed off.
Hey, I really don't know what's going on with you, but I just want to just give you a heads up that I'm about to really disappear on you. You feel me? I'm not going to be playing these games with you at all, at all. So I don't know, you think you silent treating me, and you think I'm going to be, nah, you'll have a rude awakening.
Jay-Z's old 2000 case has come roaring back to life, resurfacing across online forums connected to victims' rights groups. And every new detail drags another name, another link, right back to those same glittering nights in the Hamptons and Los Angeles. For the first time in years, Hollywood looks completely lost, unsure who to defend or trust anymore. The walls of silence are cracking, and everyone's watching to see who falls next. Snoop Dogg didn't just wake up one day and decide to talk. Insiders say he's been building up to this moment for years. Federal prosecutors never wanted just one man. They've been chasing the entire machine, the network that protected him, funded him, and thrived beside him. The question isn't if Diddy's empire collapses, it's who goes down with it. If Snoop's talking now, who's next in line? And when the indictments drop, will Hollywood finally face what it's always known, or will it double down and keep protecting its own? According to sources, the first wave of arrests could happen within weeks. The list of names being circulated behind the scenes is jaw-dropping. A mix of artists, execs, and insiders who thought they were untouchable. Investigators have quietly widened the RICO net, and this time, it's not just aimed at Sean Diddy Combs. These laws are built for taking down enterprises that run on silence and complicity, which means anyone who helped plan the parties, hid the schedules, or ignored the warnings might be next on the list. We're no longer watching the downfall of a single man. We're watching an entire industry being exposed. The FBI's task force isn't asking who knew anymore. They're asking who profited. And that shift is shaking every corner of entertainment. Usher, once seen as Diddy's loyal protege, is now being questioned about his long silence, why he never spoke up after allegedly witnessing the 2010 assault on Cassie Ventura in that restaurant. According to testimony, he stayed silent for 14 years, even after the 2016 hotel footage surfaced. Legal analysts say that kind of silence could bring serious heat under federal aiding and abetting laws. For the first time ever, just being in the room might carry the same risk as orchestrating what happened behind those closed doors. The game has changed, and this time, even the bystanders aren't safe. And then there's Young Miami. Her name keeps popping up again and again in witness statements and new lawsuits, and the story forming around her is way darker than anyone expected. She hasn't been charged with anything, but a 2024 legal filing paints a concerning picture. Several plaintiffs described a young female artist close to Diddy who allegedly arranged party supply deliveries to private gatherings.
I try to, better myself every day and try to grow to be a better musician, a better person, and just be, more in control of the power.
Insiders are saying those deliveries weren't champagne bottles or flower arrangements. They were substances meant to keep guests calm and compliant. That kind of accusation could flip someone from a companion to a key witness overnight. Young Miami has publicly denied being involved, insisting she wasn't even around during the times mentioned, but the timing of those lawsuits tells a different story. Every new filing seems to close the gap a little more, and investigators are watching her moves closely. Meanwhile, Jay-Z's name is creeping back into the mix. That long-buried VMA after-party case from 2000, the one that vanished quietly years ago, has resurfaced in the federal archives, raising serious questions about what really went down that night. The case was originally dismissed, but now attorneys representing multiple plaintiffs are trying to reopen it under the expanded RICO laws. If that happens, it could be groundbreaking. The first time the government directly links Diddy's conviction to a massive web of enablers stretching across music, film, and even corporate sponsorships. As one former promoter reportedly said, these weren't accidents, they were logistics. Every move was planned, every detail controlled, and every silence bought. But at the center of this entire storm stands Snoop Dogg, the man who once played it cool, smiling through the chaos and keeping his lips sealed. For years, he stayed loyal to that unspoken Hollywood code, the rule that said, you don't talk, you just move. So why now? Why break that silence after decades of loyalty? Sources close to the negotiations say it's not just about doing what's right, it's about survival. His cooperation isn't just moral, it's tactical. Snoop knows the game, and this time, he's playing it smarter than ever. Federal investigators have reportedly offered Snoop Dogg a conditional immunity deal, protection in exchange for full cooperation and detailed testimony about Diddy's inner circle. One insider called it a survival deal, the kind you only get when you hold the keys to an empire.
For Diddy's day-to-day life. So he is able to provide a lot of information about what that life was like. He goes into detail on extensive drug use.
But Snoop isn't just helping prosecutors. He's positioning himself as the architect of a cleanup that could completely reshape hip-hop's power map for an entire generation. The industry has never seen anything like this. And the whispers running through the music world right now are wild. According to a high-level insider, Snoop's immunity isn't guaranteed forever. It reportedly depends on his testimony, leading to at least 3 major convictions. If that clause is real, it turns his cooperation into a ticking clock. He's got to deliver names, evidence, and proof, or that protection could disappear just as fast as it came. That possibility has sent a chill through the industry, because no one knows who's already been named. The fear is spreading fast. Record execs, stylists, and former assistants are scrambling to hire lawyers, while streaming platforms quietly recheck their contracts with bad boy-affiliated artists. Behind the flash and headlines, the panic feels real, and the legal math is brutal. Diddy's 2025 conviction might have only covered the transportation for illicit encounters charge, but that was just one piece of the puzzle. Over 100 lawsuits are still pending, each one adding new witnesses, new details, and new connections between celebrity circles and corporate infrastructure. The deeper investigators dig, the more the whole system starts to look like it was built on silence and control. What began with Cassie Ventura's courage to speak out has turned into the unraveling of an entire entertainment hierarchy. The empire that once looked unstoppable is now collapsing from the inside, and Snoop might be the one holding the final match. Federal prosecutors don't need to prove that everyone did the same thing, they just have to prove they were part of the machine that kept it all running. That's what makes Snoop's role so explosive. He's not just another witness. He's the one connecting the old streets to the corporate towers. We've always known Snoop as the ultimate survivor, the man who came out of the wild 90s chaos, cleaned up his image, and became the smooth, smiling face of hip-hop respectability.
You get to be the age that we at and you get to become as successful as we are, you have to start doing some things that matter for the future.
But according to insiders close to the investigation, that reinvention came with a serious price. One source claimed he's giving them the map. He reportedly knows where the tapes are, who handled the money, and who took care of the cleanup. That level of insight makes him the most valuable insider the feds could ever dream of having. It's easy to see why they want him so bad. Snoop bridges two worlds that rarely overlap, the old school street empire and the polished new corporate elite. He's got credibility in both, and that makes his testimony the ultimate weapon. But the bigger question looms over all of it. How did this culture of protection last so long? For decades, the music industry has thrived on a mix of access, loyalty, and silence, where fame replaced accountability and NDAS replaced morality. People looked the other way because the money was flowing, the hits were charting, and the image was everything. The same studios that claimed to stand for empowerment were quietly bankrolling settlements behind closed doors. The same award shows that celebrated Diddy's success were, in truth, celebrating the system that kept his secrets safe. Now, those same executives, the ones who toasted him on stage, are reportedly staring at their phones, waiting for federal subpoenas that could drop any day now. Somewhere in New Jersey, the man who once just rapped about survival might be sitting with agents helping to tear down the empire he once stood beside. Diddy now sits inside Fort Dix, watching the empire he built crumble piece by piece, name by name. The walls that once protected him are falling fast, and every headline feels like another domino tipping over.
It's not that I want to become Snoop Dogg on a reggae track. I want to bury Snoop Dogg and become Snoop Lion.
As we wait for the next wave of indictments, one question keeps echoing louder. How deep does this go? If Snoop's testimony really uncovers the entire web behind Diddy's empire, then we're not just witnessing one mogul's downfall. We're staring at a full-blown reckoning that could rewrite the history of modern entertainment. The truth is spilling out and no one knows who's next. Because the real question isn't if more names will fall. It's whether we're ready to face what comes when they do. When those names finally drop, will people be shocked? Or will we all have to admit that the signs were there the whole time and we just chose not to look? Until then, every leak, every court date, and every whisper from behind the scenes will be another piece of the puzzle. The story's still unfolding, and it's getting darker by the minute. So stay tuned, stay alert, and don't blink, because nothing in this saga is as simple as it seems. Who do you think is next on the list? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, share this video, and make sure to subscribe. You won't want to miss what's coming next.